Hey guys, welcome to the episode 4 of That's My Role. So the people who do not know what's my role, it's basically a series where we're covering all possible career options by the professionals to help the job seekers, the undergraduates, and the people who want to switch careers. So if you are interested in product management or product lead, then I must tell you that you must be before also following the big personality in this domain, Priyank sir. I've been following him from months now, and he adds so much value to the community. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting the invite, and I'm so glad to have you today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Mansi.
Sir, before we start, could we have you a very short introduction of yours?
Sure, definitely. So my name is Priyank Ahuja. I have close to around now 15 years of work experience. Currently working with Accenture as a product lead. Before Accenture, I worked with a couple of product-based brands like Nokia, SETI, and then Vodafone and TCS, and right now with Accenture. I did my BTech from JP University Noida in 2007. Graduated as BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineer, and then I did my MBA from ISB Hyderabad and International Semester Exchange Program from NUS Business School Singapore. Graduated in 2020.
Okay, thank you so much. So that was that was really wonderful introduction. So a lot of people nowadays want to get into this field of product management. So I just particularly want to know that how does a day look like being a product manager? Wanted to
Okay.
tell it from the very fresher's perspective. How does it look like?
Okay, so first of all, you need to understand what is product management. So product management is all about end-to-end management of the product, starting from the user and market research, especially you interact with the users, you interact with the customers and the different stakeholders, and understanding about their requirements, their expectations, their pain points. And this is the actually beginning point. So first, you get the clarity about where you want to start and why you want to start and what the problem the customers are actually facing and what they expect from you. That is your user and market research. Once you get the requirements, then you have to interact with the different stakeholders or the engineers or designers to do the brainstorming, come up with the ideation phase, and then finalize which technology is important for you to build on those features and what exact features required, which will serve the basic need of a customer. Then obviously your development phase will come up in which you have to interact with the engineers and the designers to develop and implement this particular product. Your programmers will do the coding, your database will people will actually create the configuration from the database perspective, and your testers will do the ensuring the end-to-end testing of your product. And then later on you have to launch the product into the market, and then you interact with the different stakeholders, especially sales, business development, finance, HR, commercial, nodal, regulatory, as well as the business strategy team. So that's how you interact with a lot of stakeholders, especially in product management. Coming to the typical day, yeah, so you are actually spending a lot of time in attending the meeting, daily stand-up calls, especially with the higher management, your own team, product team, as well as the different stakeholders. You also involved in creating and managing that roadmap, dashboard, evaluation of the meetings and KPIs, and also prioritizes their requirements. You also interact with the customers. Whenever you get the feedback, you have to implement with the help of the engineers and designers. And later on, you involve yourself in testing and the quality assurance perspective of your product. So that's how you actually involved in multiple tasks in particular typical day.
So that was pretty much to do with the tasks that a product manager does. So sir, basically what I've understood out of it is you need to interact and you need to be the head of dealing with all of the product tasks. You need to work with the designers, with the coders, with the stakeholders, and then at every stage of the product manager has to be present. It's not like the development part is done, so now it's okay. But you need to interact it with all of the people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
to know that what kind of skills when a fresher or a person with an experience or without an experience wants to join a role of product manager, what kind of skills does the recruiter actually look for? Apart from communication, which seems to be one of the most essential skill in the fresher.
So brilliant question you have asked, Mansi. So I would like to say that 6 different skill sets are required. The
Okay.
first skill set, which is the most important, is your product thinking. How you
Right.
think like a product manager. Just like if you see the ATM machine, then don't think that it is just for withdrawing the cash. Understand why this product was required and what problem of the customer they are going to solve. In fact, one customer or multiple customers, because in the ATM multiple customers are visiting every day. Think about any product which makes your life easier, which can improve your experience, but how you can design the product, how you can develop the product, and how you can launch it to the market, and how you can set the right price so that it can go to the hands of the customer and they find it the value. So that is called as your product thinking. So how deep dive you can go to at the customer place, and how you can come up with unique ideas and build into the product features. That is first skill set. Second is you should have curiosity to solve any kind of problem. It can be simple problem, it can be complicated, it can be complex problem. So you should have understanding about the problem and explore multiple ways and select the best possible way which can solve the problem of a customer in the lowest budget with the best quality assurance parameters. Third is understand about your customer. Who is your customer? Have a empathy toward the customer, especially your customer is child, or it is a kid, or it is a senior citizen, adult, woman, or male, or it can be your senior citizen. So understand who is your customer, because obviously you are designing the product for the customer. Next, the fourth and most important skill set is your understanding about the technology. You don't have to become a coder or a programmer or a tester, but you should understand how this technology stack is working and how it will develop those particular features and what are the limitations. Second last skill set, the fifth one, is your tech data understanding. You should be happy to work with the data, especially multiple large sets of the data. So you have a basic overview about R, Python, SQL, Tableau, or Power BI. That is actually helpful for you to deep dive the data which is captured in the user and market research and help to play with the numbers. And the last and the most important skill set is your people and stakeholder management, because you have to work with a diverse team. So don't focus yourself on the programmers or testers or developers, but also focus on how you can deal with the non-tech persons and how you can interact with the designers and communicate what you want. Because obviously this is not a managerial role, it's a leadership kind of a role. So how to lead the team if they are not reporting to you? In a nutshell, I can say you have to create influence without authority.
Thank you so much, sir. I think this kind of answer and the view and the way that you kept it, whole answer is very precise, crisp, and to the point. And I think a lot of people are going to learn things from this, because skills are something that attracts people, attracts recruiters, right? So
Yeah.
thank you so much for telling us all in detail. Even I get to learn a lot from this answer. Sir, next question is, a lot of people have this thing in mind is, I haven't done MBA, so I cannot get into product manager. Is it so? Is it the recruiters now also looking up for degrees and stuffs, and not just upon the skills that the person has? What your take on this?
Actually, but not
Okay.
mandatory. Suppose if you want to get into a entry level role in product management, then recruiter generally hire the engineers who graduate from tier 1 IIT institutions, BITS Pilani, or premier NIT institutions. But if you have an MBA, then it will add a lot of value, but not all the B school. But again, the tier 1 B schools come up into the picture, because there are the colleges where companies visited their campus and hire those people for entry level roles. But that doesn't mean that you cannot get into product organizations if you don't graduate from IITs or IIMs or ISB. It's not like that. You can get into product management provided you have the transferable skills which is necessary to get into the product management. Just like suppose if you worked in software development role, so you understand how the software is being developed and how the codes are actually integrated with different platforms, or the front end and the back end, and most important, you interact with the engineers team. So
Correct.
these kind of skill set will help you to interact with the engineers, because you know how to deal with the engineers and how to communicate the requirements. Similarly, suppose if you worked in the UI UX part, then also helpful for you to interact with the designers. Similarly, if you work with the non-tech people, that is a because the different stakeholders. So that's how you can manage the different stakeholders in this particular role. So identify the transferable skills that will help you to get into the product management. That is one part. Second, the six skill sets which I mentioned in my last answer, if you demonstrate those, that also help you to land a job into the PM. But try for the entry level job. Don't directly apply for senior product manager role or
Right,
director of
right.
product. That is very difficult for you because they expect you should have a product management experience. So if you want to get into the product management, don't try for higher designations, rather
Right.
apply for entry level role and don't chase for higher salary in the beginning
Mhm.
because it makes your entry difficult into this particular domain. But
Mhm.
yeah, it brings a lot of learning. You have to tailor your resume as well and highlight your product experience. So explain how you get into this particular product or a service and
Mhm.
what all aspects of the product management you handle in your current role or in your internships. That's how you can make a smart move.
And a very a short answer. Thank you so much for this answer as well, sir. And before moving to the next question, I have this one question in mind that, as you said, that technical we need to know, then we need to know some part of designing so that we could converse with the designers as well. So, what about the non-technical people who are not much into technology, who are not much into designing, or maybe the people who come from different non-tech fields. What about them? How can they come into this field of product management?
Provided they should understand the life cycle management of the product. Just like
Mhm.
I mentioned about, there are 5 life cycle stages involved in every product. One is your user and market research. Second is launching of the product into the market, that is introduction. Then it will be the growth phase if you have the aspects of the marketing and business development on their overview. Then the maturity phase, if you know how to compete with the competitors and change the pricing as per the requirement of the customer. And lastly, in your decline or decommission phase, especially how you deal with the laggards customers. So anyone
Okay.
who is actually interacting with the customer in 5 different phases, and
Mhm.
you know what are the strategies you have to adopt in order to survive in the market, then you are the best fit for this particular role.
Okay.
A
Mhm.
lot of examples where people from marketing they made a transition into product management. Even the people who actually working in consulting or business development, they also made a smart move into the product management. For engineers and
Right.
designers, that will be very easy. And
Right.
lastly, if you work in the finance role, especially handling the capex or opex part, you are
Mhm.
also a right fit for this particular role. But provided you should have the 6 skill set, then entry will be easier for you.
Skills can grab anything, it seems. So,
Yeah.
so with that, how does a hiring process of a product manager take place? Since there are a lot of things apart from judging on skills. So, do we have some kind of technical round at first, and then so how does the process go upon?
Okay, so there are 2 ways the recruiters actually conduct the hiring process. Few companies, just like Mantra or
Mhm.
Amazon, actually give you the assignment
Okay.
and they ask you to submit it. And in the assignment, they will give you the question,
Mhm.
and there is a case about a particular. It can be either related to the problem of a existing product or a requirement of a new product or any typical
Okay.
problem which they are facing right now in the market. So how
Mhm.
you can solve this problem with the help of a product. So they will give you a typical problem with some data, or you have to research on your own to find out different data and come up with your recommendation. And here you have to present the solution in the subsequent round. So
Okay.
it is called as, you can say, product assignment before appearing into the interview. If your assignment is accepted and it is well and to the crisp, then definitely you will get the call for the interview. And then first 2 round, the discussion will be happening on your product management case. This is being followed by PM case study round also. There are 5 type of cases generally being asked. First
Mhm.
is product design case, just like suppose someone asks you how you can design an ATM for a blind machine, or how you can design a vending machine for a partially blind person, or how you can create smart pillow for the kids. So
Mhm.
you have to think like a product manager and come up with your own analysis how you can begin from the scratch and how you can deliver the product with the help of evaluation of metrics and KPIs improvement.
Right.
The second case is a product strategy case. Just like suppose if the interviewer will ask you that suppose Disney want to enter into the OTT platform, how they can go about it and how they can compete with the Netflix, who is the market player right now. So means you are working in one industry and now you want to enter into different domain and compete with the competitors. So what will be your strategy and how your product will look like? This is product strategy. Third type of cases are generally root cause analysis case. Just like suppose you are working in shop clues as a product manager, you analyze that since the last 1 week, the add to cart volume of the customers is declining. Suppose it has been declined by 40%. It's a serious
Mhm.
concern for them because if customers are not able to add their items into the basket, then how they can move to the payment gateway and generate the order ID? Obviously, it will hit the revenue. So
Right.
how you can identify this problem and how you can provide the possible recommendation to resolve it. This is called root cause analysis case. Fourth
Okay.
category of cases are generally your guesstimates. Just like they will ask the question that how many searches are happening on a Google on a given day, how many
Mhm.
Instagram lives are happening on a given day, or how many LinkedIn lives are happening every Friday. So these
Okay.
are actually product-based questions which will help you to identify how you design a system interface and how much subscribers it can withhold the traffic. Or sometimes I have heard interesting questions has been asked, just like how many you can say orders are booked by Zomato, especially one particular dish in particular hour, then
Okay.
how you can book it. And lastly, it is market entry cases, especially how you can launch the product into different market or you can expand into the global market. This is market entry case. So 5 different type of cases are generally being asked, and they expect the applicants that how you can come up with your own framework and how you identify the requirement, how you identify the customers, and how you can come up with the recommendations which is important for product manager to understand the same. After this PM cases round, the next round is your behavioral round, where they will ask you a couple of behavioral related questions, just like tell me about an incident when the go live has happened as is
Mm.
scheduled night, but your manager is not available, but client is chasing you every single minute that they have to launch the product tonight itself. So what was your strategy and how you conducted this go live without getting approval from your manager? Tell me about an incident when you handle a difficult client and they are not satisfied with your recommendations on the product features. How did you manage to launch the features on time? Tell me about an incident when you work with a difficult team member and they are not supporting you in your 2 week sprint. Then how did you deliver the product implement on time and how did you meet the objective? So typically these kind of questions are being asked to understand whether you are a good team player, whether you are managing the stakeholders in a right way, or how you can handle the clients. It's all about your stakeholder management. So these type of behavioral questions generally being asked. And last is the HR round, where they will
Mm.
generally ask you negotiation and understand why you are interested in this particular role.
Yeah, sir, your experience is actually reflecting in all your answers, I must say that. So, with an experience of 15 years, what do you think are the pros and the cons of being? So, because every role has some of the other con, right? So, or pros. So, what do you think a product manager, being a product manager and working into this field, has made you feel these are the pros and cons of being a product manager?
Pros are multiple
Okay.
because this is the only field which will help you to analyze the business in
Right.
all domains, in all dimensions. Just like you understand the how why to conduct the research, your marketing tactics will come up. When you
Mm-hmm.
develop the product, then your engineering and designing skills are automatically come up into the picture. When you
Right.
launch the product, then again your business development skills will come up. When you start earning the revenue, then your financial statistics will come up. And when you deal with the people, your HR or behavioral skills will automatically develop. And lastly, when you decline or decommission your product, then your stakeholder skill set are reflected when which justify your strategy, what product you want to build up in the next. In fact, this is the only field where you can utilize each and every aspect of your business management
Correct.
studies at the ground level. So if you do the MBA, then this is the right way you can apply all the principles at the ground level. These are the pros, I must say. Regarding the constraints is you will not be able to do the coding. You will not be able to do the testing from your clients. Rather, you have to depend upon the engineering team as well as the quality assurance team. They are actually dependent upon the same. But you should know how they are working. You should know how these features are being developed. Although you are not at the executive level, but you
Right.
have to develop awareness. And second constraint I would like to say here, mention here is that you are handling a big team, but you are not their manager. You have to
Hmm.
lead the team and create the influence without authority. In
Correct.
nutshell, I can say you have to make the team self-organized, self-managed, and make sure the things should be moving without giving the instructions to the team. In fact, you give the instructions as a leader, but not as a manager. But this is how your leadership skills actually develop. So please don't feel that product manager is actually the manager of each and everything. No, this is completely wrong. This is a wrong notion available in the market. You are the
Hmm.
manager of just a very small team. Hardly one or two people are reporting to you. But actually, it's not a managerial role. It's
Hmm.
actually a leadership kind of a role. You are leading a
Correct.
large team from different
Correct.
verticals. So that's how it creates challenge. If you don't have the leadership skills, then definitely it will create a constraint for you. But if you have the skill set to lead the team and create the influence, then you are the best person for this particular role.
Correct. Also, one thing that you rightly pointed out, that you don't need to become, a boss or something. You have to be, at the very edge of every people, but you need to lead something. So have that leadership skill rather than just having managing skills and all. So, sir, one tip or some suggestions that you want to give to the freshers who want to come to this role of product manager, apart from having just skills, but in general as well, if you would like to give.
Repeat your question once again.
The good suggestions that you could give to the freshers and the career switchers who want to become product managers in the coming time.
Okay. So
Right.
my strong recommendation to the freshers is if you want to get into the product management, don't focus on just one aspect of the product. Always think about a big picture. Means just like suppose right now, if you are viewing a laptop, don't see this as a machine which will help you to do the copy paste kind of a job. You can enter the data into the Excel or write something on the notepad, or you can connect the Google Meet or Zoom call. Don't think like that. Understand from a product manager perspective, like who has designed this particular laptop, why it has been designed like this, how the size and the shape has been decided by the team, the color combination, the contrast, and the designing part, who has created this particular laptop, how was the big you can say manufacturing and assembly line it is, and how someone has set this particular price, and how it was launched in the market, and how it was come available handy in the customer's hand, and how if suppose any problems comes up in the future, then how it can be tackled with the help of support team, or the services which are offered in the form of a warranty or support. So always think about the big picture. Don't just think that I have to develop this keyboard, I have to focus on the mouse
Right.
pad or the
Right.
webcam. No, otherwise you will just dealing with the technical stuff. Identify each and every element. This will not only increase your decision making abilities, but also think in 360-degree manner, and you will analyze how many creative ideas you have, and maybe one of those ideas bring disruption in the market, and that's how you create your own startup into the unicorn.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us and changing our mindset to actually become the right and the good product managers and leading good products and projects in future. Thank you so much for coming up, sir, and accepting my invite for the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I wish all the students good luck in all their future endeavors through your community. And thank you so much, Mansi, for inviting me.